Right, Daryl, you just want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Daryl Killen and I'm a Cape York project manager for Natural Carbon's savanna burning projects based in Cairns. I'm a professional forester and managing a number of savanna burning projects on the Cape.
And just to clarify, you work with Indigenous groups?
Yes, largely Indigenous groups, majority probably 70% Indigenous, about 30% non-Indigenous.
And you've worked with this Landsat tool that ILC have been funding. What do you think of it?
I think it's a great initiative. As you're well aware, late dry season fires impact heavily on project viability and generation of carbon credits, ACCUs, and any way we can better coordinate late dry season firefighting. The MODIS mapping, being 250 metres, doesn't always have the exact location of the fire scar, and the ILC funding has enabled us to get this Landsat downloaded and actually utilise it to check our early burning and potentially join up the unburnt areas and also fight fires better in that late dry season.
Yeah, so just to explain, once you've put in your breaks in the early dry season, it's really valuable to know exactly where the gaps are in those breaks?
Exactly. So this is a map again of Orange and Sefton from 2017, and you can see here this is our flight path taken with our early incendiary run.
So this has come from the project and then you've overlaid a few bits of map information on it?
Yeah, so we've downloaded the Landsat image. We've then converted that Landsat image into a geo-referenced PDF, which can then be downloaded onto an iPad. And this was our June run in June 2017. And with these scars here, we can make out areas that have got some weakness in them or not quite a contiguous break. So in our July run with the helicopter, we went back out and we target those areas of weakness rather than having to burn the whole area again, so we can be more strategic with our incendiaries, with our fuel usage, and that the blue dot on the geo-reference PDF when you're in the chopper tells you you're exactly over that point. So we can then basically join up those two gaps.
And just to clarify, the NAFI mapping, the MODIS 250 metre mapping, that wouldn't give you that sort of detail?
No, the MODIS 250 square metre is 250 by 250 metres. The problem with it is that you can, if there's a large chunk of that cell or that pixel that is unburnt, you can still carry a fire. I mean, you only need a 50 metre wide length of fire for a whole late season fire to sneak through your defences. So MODIS is simply not accurate enough for late dry season firefighting purposes. It's fine for calculation of credits, but we need this Landsat tool in order to better utilise our chopper use.
Yep, and so I can see that these images are pretty useful. What are the issues though with the tool?
Some of the issues with the tool are it's quite complex. There's quite a number of clicks you've got to go through to do it, and you have to really have access to some GIS skills to be able to build these geo-reference PDF maps, and it's very hard for the layperson to do, and the small project manager.
Just to clarify, what people really want to make it useful is to be able to carry it into the field and look at it on something like an iPad, which has one of these little dots that show where you are in relation to the map.
That's right. We need a geo-reference PDF. The main thing is when you're out there on a quad bike, and remembering that they're going to be out there on a quad bike and using choppers. If there's a late fire, we have to go out there, and the guys, the people involved want to know where are the brakes, what brakes can we rely on to pull up this fire, and Landsat just gives us that functionality, but we've got to be able to see it on the screen out there. It's no good having it in the office. You've actually got to have it in the middle of nowhere. You need to be able to navigate to that point. You need to be able to rely on that map and to be able to see it on that portable device, of course, which is why, ultimately, we'd like to see this in, well, it would be great from an industry point of view to have this on some sort of app that was linked to a project dashboard. But yeah, I understand it's not currently funded at the moment.
No. but for people who are in the office, like the planners who sit there, maybe do have a little bit of GIS skill, has been useful for them.
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, if you've got the GIS functionality in the planner, and if you're a large project, you can absorb those costs. However, we're still, we'd like to run a few more workshops in terms of the actual understanding the tool. We ran a few last year, but that was fairly preliminary. It would be great if it was clipped to a project area boundary and you could just go in there and use it and hit a few buttons on an app and end up with it. That'd obviously be a lot better, but there's a fair bit of work involved with that. So,
And is there also an issue with the gap between updates?
There is an issue with it. 16 days, as you know, is the Landsat gap. So Sentinel is 5 days, is my understanding. So obviously if we can get Sentinel into...
That's another sort of satellite.
Which is another satellite. If we can get that Sentinel satellite every 5 days, that would be fantastic, because quite often every 16 days you can have bad luck and there'll be cloud over the image on the particular day that you go to use it, and you've got to wait another 16 days then to check the next image. And sometimes you might have cloud on that image as well. So all of a sudden you've lost a month of usage, and the vegetation starts to change after a month. So it would be great if we could shorten that interval.
And one of the suggestions has been that you could also have the imagery sitting underneath, say, the NAFI maps, and have NAFI as a mobile application.
Absolutely. If there was some functionality to have your base map on a mobile device, and then to get just even hotspots pushed to that device over the satellite network, like a very small file size, not talking the full NAFI website, but if you could receive updated hotspots in your project area that were of low file size and could be delivered over that satellite network, then we could have real-time hotspot updates on these maps, which would again improve project management.
Okay. Anything else to add?
Well, from an industry point of view, we'd really like to see this project continue. I think it's great that the ILC took a leadership funding initiative and got this going last year. It would be great if we could somehow as an industry come together and ensure this functionality moving forward. But as I said, I think it's got to be done strategically as part of an app development, platform development, or some other long-term funding arrangement.
Yep. Okay, thanks, Daryl.
No worries, thank you.